Hello, welcome to Frizzy's Corner Bar.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I hope everyone had a really nice Thanksgiving. We did. We actually went to San Francisco and with Jake, our youngest, to visit Max, our oldest. And we had a great time in the city.
Yeah, we spent a week there and in the Mission Noe district, and we didn't even rent a car. We just hung out in the city and explored it and walked a lot of miles every day, which was good. We also took the streetcar and the
lots of Ubers. I didn't even add up how much we spent on Uber.
Hundreds of dollars in Ubers. So I added it up. But then we discovered the Muni, and that made it a lot more fun. Yeah. So tonight we got a pretty interesting show. Yeah. So it's sides and shots. So
what are you doing for side dishes?
Well, I think we should do a shot first.
Oh, you think we should do a shot first?
I think we should get into that.
So I have 3 different shots we're going to talk about. The first is just a simple straight up shot. And tonight we are doing medicine. Yes, Jagermeister. It's ice cold. Came out of the freezer.
So I'm going to put this back.
And if you're with us and can hear us and everything's going well, we'd love to hear comments and let us know you're there. So here is a Jagermeister shot.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Love
you.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone. So Jagermeister is a German liqueur, and it has a lot of different herbs in it. It's kind of it does kind of have a little medicine-y taste, maybe like a little Vicks.
44.
Yeah.
Cured my cough. Anyway.
But it is really good.
Yes. So
did you want to show what you're doing on your sides?
In a couple minutes I will. We'll go over to that.
Okay, go ahead.
What I decided to do for this week is, instead of having anyway, inside joke. So instead of doing a main entree protein dish, I decided I would talk a little bit about some of the side dishes that we do. So I went on and I looked to see what are the most popular side dishes. And I'm sure you can all guess that mashed potatoes was the #1 side dish, then followed by green beans, and then I think corn. And then there's a bunch of other things that I don't think are really favorites that was in the list. But anyway, so what I'm doing tonight is baby broccoli. I'm going to saute that in duck fat on the stove. And then I was going to do sauteed spinach to show you guys some of the ways that I cook that. But I decided instead to do red cabbage or purple cabbage.
Braised cabbage is delicious. I mean, I think we also roast it in the oven, but I think when Max was here, he did some braised cabbage, and it's not like the cabbage I used to remember growing up. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's really good. And what I did for that is I did it with some onions and bacon, and then I haven't put it in yet, but it's back there. And then I'm also doing some roasted potatoes, and the potatoes are going to take a little while. I can't show you those. I do have them in just our countertop oven, or whatever it's called, the baker. What's that thing called?
Oh, it's a
toaster oven kind of thing. Yes. So
because our oven is actually broken.
Well, it's not broken, but we have a service call in because the convection fan isn't working properly.
I think there's some sort of electrical issue. It's popped.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm using the toaster oven, and for that I did it with. Anyway, let me show you what I have back here going. Yeah. So let me get that going.
We have a comment though from Carol. Carolyn Flathers says, "Sound is good. Cheers, cheers, Carolyn." And I have set up a camera. I'm going to call it the cook cam. So that is coming on. So the cook cam is on. So if you want to go over and show them what you're doing over there.
Yeah, I'm not ready 100% to put the baby broccoli in. But what I did is I washed it off and then I let it set here to dry. In this pan here, I have probably 2 tablespoons of duck fat that I've just slowly melted down. And in this pan here, I have Black Forest bacon. And then I'm just letting these onions caramelize just a little bit. So I'm just really slowly cooking this down. And then here I have purple cabbage or red cabbage, different names for it. And so what I do is I core it out, and then I slice it with a knife because I like to practice on my knife skills. So I try to get it in probably an 1/8 inch thickness. And then over here, I have my roasted potatoes. And the way that I do those is after I've washed them off, I halved them and then quartered them. And then I put them into a gallon Ziploc bag. And then you always want to use a hot heat oil, such as avocado oil or canola or something of that nature, peanut oil even, because olive oil has a low smoke temperature of around 325 degrees. And these potatoes I'm doing at 450. And this is also a convection oven. So what happens is at that high heat with that oil on there, it gives them a nice caramelizing and crispiness to them. They're almost like French fries. But anyway, once I put them in the Ziploc bag with the high heat oil, I use avocado oil for this here. Then I added in some salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic powder.
What else?
A little smoked paprika. I always mix up the spices that I use, and then I put in a little bit of thyme and some chipotle pepper. And then I just shake, I seal it, and then I shake it really well to coat everything. And then I lay it out in a nice flat pan. And I cook it on aluminum foil. So.
Okay, we have a couple. Well, you want to come over here? Or you want to stay over there? We got a question. So the first is, so Dory says, hi guys. Hi, Dory.
Hey, Dory.
Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Jamie.
And then Dory asked, what is your duck fat source?
Duck breast. So we buy a lot of duck from Stop and Shop. Right now is the only place that's been carrying fresh duck breasts, and they're individual breasts, and they're $13.99 a pound. And each one, they're really nice duck breasts too. One of those will take care of both of us easily. So I'll do 2 of those. And the way that I do my duck breast, it's actually on friesiescornerbar.com, but I take it out of the refrigerator, take it out of the packet. I let it sit on a cutting board for about 20, 30 minutes. Then I take a really sharp knife and I score it in a crosshatch like that. And then I take it and I heavily salt it, a lot of salt on that fat, and I let it sit for another 20 minutes. Then right before I cook it, I take some paper towels and I wipe off some of that heavy salt, put that into a cold skillet, and then I bring it up slowly to heat so I render that fat out. And then the whole time I'm just tilting the pan back and I'm ladling out that duck fat. Typically I do it through a filter so that I get a lot of the particles out. And then I put it into a jar, seal it up, and not seal it, but put the lid on it, and it goes in the refrigerator.
And it lasts forever, right?
Well, yeah, it just depends on how much you cook. So this is what happens when you don't strain it. You see how dark that is on the bottom here?
You want to show it in the other?
Yeah. So this is what it looks like here. This is just duck fat. And this is from about 2 weeks ago, but here's what happened when I didn't strain it out. So you can see all the fat. This is actually from several different cooks of duck fat. But anyway, once I didn't strain it out, and you can see a lot of the pepper and some of the particles are down here. So what I'll do is I'll use this until I get close to that, and then I'll clean it out and start it all over again. So that was a mistake on my part, not doing that first time. But it lasts for a really long time. We go through it quite a bit because I use duck fat in a lot of different things because the flavor that it imparts on the food and things is
delicious. It's really good with the eggs, like if you fry eggs in it. Mm.
Yeah, there's actually a restaurant in Portland, Maine called Duck Fat.
And yeah, they do their French fries.
Everything is cooked in duck fat. And that's sort of where I got the idea, even though I knew about it.
Wow. It is wow.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay,
so my stuff back here is going a little bit. I have a little ways to go, so I think you should take over and do what it is that you do.
So now I am going to talk about 2 other shots The first, I'm going to talk about making layered shots. So I have one here, and then I will show you how to do it. So this is actually called an Alaskan duck fart, but it's actually a take on a B-52. So the first layer is Kahlua. Yes, Kahlua. The second layer is Bailey, and on the Alaskan duck fart, it is Crown Royal on top. If you put Grand Marnier on top, it's actually a B-52. And Mike does not like Grand Marnier. He had a really bad experience with it one night. So we actually don't buy Grand Marnier, which is why I wanted to do this. But it is really fun to do layered shots. And this one, I actually did this shot, I think like an hour before the show. And you can see it's still separated. So it's, if you're having people over, it's a fun way to start a party or start an event. And if you look online, there are a lot of holiday layered shots. There's like a peppermint candy and a Christmas tree. I don't really like too much of the sweet, heavy peppermint. So I didn't want to make one of those tonight. So, but what I did here and what I like to do, these shot glasses that we have, these are just 1.5 ounce shot glasses. They're pretty small. And so it's, when you layer them, it's kind of hard to get all of the liquor in if you pour it out of the bottle. So I actually just pour the liquor into glasses. So I have my liquor poured out into glasses here. And then I'm going to use, this is one of my bar spoons. This is actually a tablespoon because a tablespoon is 1/2 ounce. And so this takes 1.5 ounces. So it actually works out perfect. So I'm going to try to do it up here so you can actually see better. So the first, and I'm going to make a mess, I know. So the first layer is the Kahlua. Now, when you layer when you layer liquor, it's all based on the specific gravity of the liquid. So the heavier liquid wants to go first. And really you might need to experiment, but the more sugar that is in a liqueur, the heavier it is going to be. Like water is a specific gravity of 1. Alcohol, pure alcohol, is a specific gravity less than 1. And then the more sugar that's in the liquor, the heavier it is. So Kahlua is a pretty heavy specific gravity. Then I always like rinse out the tablespoon, just because when I take the next liquor in, I don't want to mix it up. So now the next one that I'm going to do is the Baileys. And now once you have your liquor in there, you want to kind of drip it over the back of a spoon so that it just goes in slowly. You don't want to break it or make it go into the other. So, and now I'm going to rinse my spoon and my the spoon and the tablespoon. I'm actually going to dry this off a little bit because I'm trying to keep the top clear, and if I have any of that Bailey's on it, it makes it milky. You'll see this one. I don't know if it's because it's sitting, it's a little milkier. So now I'm going to do the Crown Royal. If you were doing the B-52, this would be Grand Marnier. And I'm just going to top that on there. And it mixed up a little bit. My layer didn't come out too well on that one. I didn't have the spoon far enough in the jar. I will take
amateurs.
That's right. Okay. So cheers.
Cheers. What is this?
That is an Alaskan duck fart.
I feel one coming on.
It's Crown Royal, Kahlua, and Bailey's.
Now, at the Randolph brothers' house, we would be drinking Crown Royal and butterscotch schnapps. And I think they call it a slippery nipple, but I don't know if that's the real name. So it's 50-50 on that.
So now I want to tell you, now I want to go over what I'm really excited about. Once Mike.
Sorry. It's like
okay.
I got to cook. So.
I know. Well, you can turn your microphone off. Okay, so I love Jello Shots, and I had done some research. I really wanted to kind of elevate the Jello Shot and not kind of use Jello. And I found this book. I'm going to put it on this cam. It's called Jello Shot. And what it is it basically you make cocktails, but you put Knox gelatin in instead of Jello brand Jello. And so there you get the pure alcohol, the pure, there's no artificial sugars. Whatever you would make in your alcohol is in your Jello Shot. And I made a few different ones, which I'm going to pull out of the refrigerator. So basically what the when you're making the Jello Shot, and I'll put some of these recipes up, it is 1 cup of fluid to 1 packet of gelatin, which is about 7 grams. Now, what I do recommend is if you're going to make a lot of these, do not buy the box, buy it by the pound, because once it's in the box and the packet, it's very expensive. It's much more economical if you buy, a big container. Now, this is not Knox. This is actually Great Lakes gelatin. This makes for a cloudy Jello Shot, and you have to put more in it. So I'd say I recommend the Knox over any other kind of gelatin. I am going to put this on the food cam. So you'll see here, I think you can see. So I actually made 3 different kinds. So the first one I made is a blue Hawaiian. And these I did in a silicone mold. So the silicone mold, it was actually a mini muffin tin. And this is a blue Hawaiian, so it's blue curacao, vodka, rum, pineapple juice. And you want to make, when you do these Jello Shots, first you want to make sure that you put them in a non-reactive pan. So the first time I made them, I messed up. I put them in a metal pan. It needs to either be glass or the silicone mold. The molds are nice because you don't have to cut. There's no waste in the molds. And this is my second attempt at the same Jello Shot. This is also a blue Hawaiian, but you'll see that, I think you can see, you'll see that it's layered. I tried to layer the first batch, but when you're in the middle between layers, what I messed up because I did not cool the second gelatin enough. You put the first layer in and you chill it for about an hour, so it makes it firm, and then you ladle on the second half of the recipe. And I put it on too hot, so what it ended up doing was melting the Jello that was in there. And so these are the same exact Jello Shots, but one is layered and one is not. Then the next thing that I did was I made 2 different kinds of Jello Shots. I cut them out. I cut the Jello into little star shapes, and then I put a clear gel, and then I made a clear gelatin to put on them. The thing that's great about these, I think what's great about these Jello Shots is you can just eat them with your fingers. You don't need cups. You don't need any containers. So it's but you do want to cut them the day of your event if you're cutting them. So for instance, this one is cut. This is actually 2. Let's see if
what's in that one? That one looks good.
How well. So this one here is a pomegranate. it's pomegranate and gin, and then I made a gimlet. So both the reds are the same. So it's a pomegranate martini, and then the green is a gin gimlet, and then the clear is just a gin based gelatin. And so the red one is actually one of the disadvantages of cutting, and you can just use any type of cookie cutter or mold, is that you do get remnant, you get waste. And so what I did with the waste was that's what this is I just took all the waste from when I cut that, and I just remelted it together. So it's a little muddy looking, but I think it should be good. So do you want to try?
You want me to try the waste?
You can. We can split that one, or you can try whichever one you want.
You take whichever one you want.
You go first.
No, you go first.
I'll take this messed up blue Hawaiian.
Oh, that's what I wanted.
So they're really good. This one has the pineapple in it. You can taste the pineapple. It actually tastes like you're drinking the cocktail.
It sure does.
You get a little chew.
It's very good. Yeah, Shannon made these last night, and we didn't try any of them. Until just now, and they're really good.
That one's good. Now let's try one of these. That one probably has more lime. So this is the one that is I just thought it looked so cool to have the shapes floating in the clear gelatin.
Yeah. Look at that. The first bite, I didn't taste everything, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, now it all comes together."
Yeah, and then we'll split.
Here, let's feed
one.
each other. Here,
no,
come on, baby.
No,
let's do that lock and arms thing. Come on.
That one's really good.
They're all really good.
So I made a gimlet one, a pomegranate martini, and then the blue Hawaiian. And I will post all of those recipes. But I do, if you like Jello shots, you'll love these jelly shots. Oh, another tip too is that the first time that I made it, when you're heating, you basically will heat the parts of the liquid slowly with the gelatin. But you don't, if you have any alcohol in it, you want to heat it very slow because you don't want it to boil. You don't want to burn off the alcohol. And sometimes it gets a little bit bubbly. And so you really, before you put it in the pan, you want to let it cool and you want to stir those bubbles out, because if you keep the bubbles in, the bubbles will stay on top of that jelly and it won't be as clear.
They'll rise to the top.
So, okay. So that is what I had, was my Jello shots and the layered shots. And anything else, Mike?
Well, I'm going to show some of this stuff here. Just
okay,
one
I'm going to
second.
show. Do you want me to put your cook cam on?
No. I'm going to bring it over there to that one in just a second.
Okay. So I guess I'm going to have to. I'm going to.
You're
I'm
going
going
to
to have to
talking
eat
for a
this
second.
other Jello shot here.
Oh, geez.
Now your beeper's going off. Anybody have any questions? Oh, next week is Mike's birthday, and I actually made reservations at this restaurant in Boston called Table on Friday night. I wanted to take his birthday is actually Saturday, and I wanted to take him Saturday night for his birthday, but they were booked. I guess it's this. It's like a family style restaurant. It's like it's one of the, I think it's one of the best rated restaurants in Boston now. It has like 5, like on the various sites, it has like 5 stars, but it's like a family style. So they only allow, I think it's a very small venue. Everybody sits at these big tables. They serve family style at this table. So it's supposed to be really cool. So we're doing that next Friday.
Yeah, we're going with some friends into the city and hanging out.
Okay.
So, here's what I'm serving up for dinner tonight. This is a salad. I know that the food cam doesn't always show them the good color and presentation of this, but it's a mixed It's not a mixed green salad, I apologize. It's a romaine lettuce salad with purple onions, cucumbers, celery, and I put just a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese. And this is what we're having for our main course. So this is the chicken legs that I grilled, and these are not hot. I cooked these earlier, and I just have to heat the chicken leg up. And this is the sauteed purple cabbage or red cabbage, whatever you want to call
it.
It
Just adds beautiful color to the plate.
It does. And then these are the roast potatoes. I don't know if you can see it, but they have a nice little crust on them, crunchiness. And then this is the here you can see that one. And then this is the sauteed baby broccoli.
Okay, so I'm going to hide the can. We have Carolyn asked, "Have you tried pudding shots?" I have had pudding shots before.
But we've not made them. This is the first time we've ever made shots, or Shannon has, right?
No, I've made Jello shots before.
Yeah.
And I do love pudding shots, but I will say they're hard to like shoot. They're it's almost like you have to
use your tongue.
You have to, yeah. So, okay. Any other questions, comments? Well, as always, thank you for joining us, and we love you to like, comment, and share. And I'm glad everyone had a happy thing. We will do a show the following week, so we'll do a show before Christmas. And if you want to learn something, have any questions, always feel free to comment on Frizzy's Corner Bar.
Yeah, make suggestions if there's things you'd like to see us try to do in terms of cocktails, or if you want me to talk about stuff in terms of cooking, I'm glad to do that.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
And yep, don't forget, my birthday's next week. Next
Saturday,
December 11th.
He's gonna be 50. Bye-bye, everyone.
Actually 49, but
Thank
she's pushing
you.
it.
Bye-bye.